Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a reaction video and it's a letter to African parents. And yesterday I got a message about Africans and how African parenting is bad, believe it or not. But you judge it yourself. How is African parenting? Can you rate it good or bad? Let's watch this video. A letter to African parents.
Dear African parent, I wish you listened to me as much as you speak at me. You tell me to listen to what you say, but never take time to listen to my thoughts. I know I am young, but my feelings matter too. You say I am reserved around you, but verbal around others. You say I pretend to be quiet, yet I am truly loud and expressive. You say you know me better than I know myself because you gave life to me, but what you know is the version of me that you want me to be and not the version of me that I truly am.
Growing up in an African home, I grew up this way. I wasn't allowed to express myself. I wasn't allowed to be me. So the version of me that my mom knew was different from the version of me that other people knew. So how was your growing up? Do we still think that being controlling and overly controlling and manipulative, do we think that is helping a child? And at the end of the video, you will see the plea of this lady. Why we Africans, we raise our children to destroy them. We actually raise them to destroy them. But if you are raised that way, where you feel broken, where you feel damaged, there's hope. Healing from your parental wounds, because some of our wounds are caused by the people who raised us, by the people who are supposed to love us, by the people who are, we see as our parents. And sometimes we can't help but to deal with it, to live with it. But healing is possible. Let's move on.
My silence in your presence is a result of all the times you told me you know better than me because I am too young to understand. When I wanted to tell you that your words hurt me, you said I should not talk back at you. So I shut my mouth for years because I did not want to make you angry.
So when your child is silenced, is it because you just want to be in control, or because you are older than your child and you make your child to be quiet? You shut that child because you feel you know better than your child. How is that helping that child? Because it has many negative impact on that child. You make that child a people pleaser, struggles with his or her identity because he doesn't know if what he's going to say is going to be pleasing to your ear, since you only want your child to say something that you want to hear, not really how that child feels. So how are we raising our children to be free, to just be everyday human beings, to just express themselves and make ourselves a safe place for our children to express their feelings? How are we doing that? Because if someone, just yesterday saying that African parenting is bad, what do you have to say? Put that in the comments below. How are we raising our children? How are we being a safe place for our children to express themselves? And why do we always think that a child asking a simple question is talking back? What do we define talking back to be? When a child just simply wants to know an answer to something, or is asking a simple question, that child is talking back. So your child is a robot. Whatever you say to your child must do without questions. That is not healthy parenting. And that is not going to help that child in a long run, because that child will struggle with making decisions, struggle with asking questions in class, because the teacher might attack him or her because he's asking or she is asking a valid question and wants to know an answer. So why do you mix the two together, getting it mixed up, asking a simple question and talking back? Does that make any sense? Or how do you see it? Let me know in the comments.
When I asked you why I should finish my vegetables, you yelled and said because I said so, and now I do things without knowing why I should, even when they hurt me. Would it have been so much to simply tell me that vegetables kept me healthy? Maybe I would have eaten them with much less resistance had I known how important they were to me.
Why is it so hard for our children to ask us why? Oh, eat your vegetable. you dare not ask an African parent why. Is it that you get a slap, or because they will tell you because I said so? Why is it so hard for us to answer simple questions and give explanation when it is needed? Because let's be frank, little kids don't really like vegetables. And if we say it in a nice way, oh, vegetables make you strong, like they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, your child will see the need of eating that vegetable instead of you to say, because I said so. And this lady said now she does some things that she doesn't know why she's doing it, because she heard that from childhood, because I said so. So is it bad for a child to ask for a reason? No, that child just wants to know, right?
You told me to listen to everything adults said because adults never lie. You told me to never say no to what the big people told me to do, lest I embarrass you by being disrespectful. Dear mom and dad, I listened to you. And so when my uncle told me to help him clean his bedroom, I remembered your words and obeyed. When he touched my barely developed breasts, I was scared, but he said I should stay still and quiet. I remembered your words and obeyed. When he undressed me after undressing himself, I could not scream because I didn't want him to think you raised a disrespectful child.
You see, this is what happens when you don't allow your children to express their feelings, when you don't allow your children to be themselves, when you tell them, do what I say. For example, telling a child that an adult is always right. That's why there are so many sexual abuses in African setting, because, oh, as a child, you're supposed to listen to adults. And these rapes and sexual abuse, it happens with family members. You don't have to go too far. It happens among family members, because as a child, you are supposed to listen to your uncles, your auntie. So even when they are touching you in inappropriate parts of your body, you must obey, because you are a child, you must listen. Is that the way to parent a child? That's not healthy parenting. You are putting a child on a path of being, number one, a people pleaser. Number two, having identity problem, not knowing who she is. Oh, I cannot think for myself. Oh, I cannot say no for something I'm not comfortable with, so I must say yes to everything. You are not doing that child good by telling that child to listen to what the adults say, that adults are always right. Adults are not always right. No humans are perfect. Everybody make mistakes. How are you raising your child? Because I was raised this way, and let me tell you, it took me a while for me to tell myself I will no longer listen to everything that people say. I am no more a people pleaser. It took a lot of work for me to do that to myself, and that is why healing is very, very possible. And I got help too from therapy and counselors to help me reorient my brain, my thinking. All right.
When he took my innocence, I cried on the inside but kept my mouth shut because he said nobody would believe me. And obviously he was right, because you told me that big people are always right.
You see, that is what parent cause. They say big people are always right. And the man was right. Your parents will not believe you because they don't even allow you to talk. So how would they believe you?
Years passed, and so did my uncle. You wondered why I cried louder than everybody else. You thought it was because me and him were close. And of course we were close. Closer than you think. At the end of his life, he told me to cook for him and that I should be very careful with his diet because he was unwell. I asked you what he was suffering from, but you told me to mind my business. And so I did as you said. Dear African parent, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry that I overheard your conversation with Auntie. I should have shut my ears when you told her that Uncle was dying of AIDS. Now I am unsure of my fate because I obeyed.
You know, as children, we listen to our parents, and that is what we are supposed to do. And African parents, they can use the Bible to suit their own belief. Oh, children, obey your parents in the Lord. Well, teaching your children bad things and asking them to obey, it is not in the Lord. you are forcing them to do what is outside God's will, making them obey you, to the point of destroying themselves. Like this lady, she was having sexual intercourse with that uncle that had HIV, that died of AIDS. And what will become of her? Just because she obeyed, she listened, she wants to be the good kid. She doesn't want to disrespect her parents. She doesn't want to be seen as a disrespectful child. So how are we raising our children? When we raise our children this way, it impacts their emotional health, mental health, it obstructs their behavioral patterns, and even impacts them developmentally. It also poses challenges to their relationships, because they will be in a relationship and they will be acting in a very funny way. They don't know why they're acting like that. It's because of the way they were raised. That's the impact. And most importantly, they don't know their identity. They lack confidence. They are confused of who they are, because number one, their opinion did not matter when they were little, and they don't know how to make choices. So we need to heal from these things. We need to raise our children in a healthy way. We need to change the way we raise children, because it impacts them in the long run. So what do you think about the video? How were you raised? I was raised similar to how she was raised. And I've done a video about narcissism in African parenting, and the title was, Are All African Parents Narcissists? And come and see comments. Come and see what people were saying, and which is concerning. So we need to bring these things and talk about it and learn to do the right thing. And also, as adults, we need to heal. And it took me a while for me to heal. So healing is possible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you wish to see more of this, and share your thoughts, and let's talk about it. Maybe make a video about it in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Take care.